Hi, this is Brian from Atomic-Moto, and I'm here to do a dogfight between the Alpinestars Belize and the Forma Terra Evo low boots. Now these two boots are from two different companies. They're aimed at the same customer, but they could not be more different in how they are designed and built. Let me start with the Belize here on my left. Now this retails for $249 as of the filming of this video. It comes in two colors, a plain black version and this brown that I have here. They weigh 2.82 pounds per side. They have two buckles, quite a bit of plastic. They have Alpinestars kind of semi-nested type hinge on the outer side of the boot, a Drystar waterproof membrane, and a lugged, bonded, or rubber molded sole. The Terra Evo Low, this retails for $289. It is a reduced version of the Forma Terra Evo, taller adventure boots, very popular for us. It comes in one color, and it weighs 2.78 pounds, 0.04 of a pound lighter than the Belize. For all intents and purposes, there's that much variance in one pair to the next, so they're basically the same weight. It uses Forma's Drytex membrane on the inside, so it is also waterproof. Two buckles. It has a welt sole, that's a stitched-on sole, and Forma's proprietary lugged sole bottom. It has a semi-strut hinge on both sides, both on the inner and the outer side of the ankle. So a good amount of protection there over the ankle area. And let's compare those two hinge systems. As I said before, the Belize only has a hinge mechanism on the outer side of the ankle. It uses their kind of like tongue and blade or blade system, I'll call it. Basically, this upper piece is open and then the lower piece has a tongue that slips inside of it and helps support it, and it gives a decent amount of flex. The inner side has an insert, a cup-shaped insert, which is pretty typical of many other adventure boots. That's a hard insert in here under the ankle, but no hinge. The Forma, on the other hand, has an injection molded strut system over the outer and inner side of the ankle. It's a big step up from the previous gen. It works pretty well. It gives a little bit of range of motion, but basically there is a plastic structure there that helps support the ankle. Now, speaking of the ankle, one of the key factors about it is the fitment of it. The Belize has quite a bit of padding on the inner side of the ankle, and because of the shape of the bottom of the boot, the ankle is quite a bit slimmer, and it definitely clamps around your lower leg a little bit more firmly. The Forma has a good amount of clamping at the top, and their buckles are very efficient, and there's some inner padding on here, but it's just a little bit looser in the ankle area. A very common question that people ask us when they're shopping for boots is about the fit. In the case of these two, and you can see it, you can very visibly see it. The Formas, they are wide. They have a much wider fit in the forefoot, and they actually have a little bit more vertical height. If you have a wide foot, this Forma boot is better for you because it's more accommodating for your wide foot. The Alpinestars is a little bit more narrow. I wouldn't call it narrow, but it has just a little bit less volume in the forefoot. It has quite a bit of padding, so it actually has a little less vertical height. If you fit inside, this boot has got a nice cushy feel though inside because of all that padding. So if you tuned into this video, I'm sure you want to know which one is the winner of this dogfight. Well, I'm going to get to that, but first let me run down the pros and cons of each, where one shines the other. First of all, talking about the construction of the boot, we romanticize that old school, high quality Italian boot manufacturing technique and attention to detail and material choosing, speccing in industry parlance. And for that, the Forma definitely wins. Forma's building these boots in Europe or East Europe. They use great materials. Their assembly is outstanding. It's that welt sole construction that we like so much. The boot just has a nice, heavy, rugged feel. If we're talking about the soles of the two boots, you know, they're both quite good in terms of grip. I do think that the shape of the Forma is a little bit more accommodating for getting your foot farther forward, which allows you to get under the shift lever a little bit easier. It's also a little bit wider, and so it's probably a little bit easier to walk in. and also has a little bit more forefoot flex. If we're talking about the protective characteristics of the boot, the Alpinestars wins. Why? Well, a few things. First of all, this outside ankle plastic protection is much larger and it's very well executed. It actually covers the whole side of the boot, does a great job, actually still allows a good amount of flex. There isn't a similar piece on the inside, but there is a nice insert here in and around the ankle area. And most importantly, the ankle of the Alpinestars is much slimmer and clamps your leg much better. You can kind of see that if you look at the two. Let me turn around so you can view it from this angle. The Forma is just a little bit more voluminous in the transition from the top of the foot to the ankle. The Alpinestars, you see, has a nice taper here, and that hugs your ankle and gives it a little bit more support. Ankle support on this boot is great for a shorty boot. Talking about the fit of the two, well, that's a little bit more based on your individual foot characteristics. The Terra Evo Low has more width. You can see it. There it is right there. More width and volume in the forefoot. You got wide feet. This one is for you. If you have normal to narrow feet, not narrow, normal to narrow, the Alpinestars Belize is a good fit for you. I have a slightly wide foot and I'm able to wear the Belize quite well. Of course, I'm also able to wear the Terra Evo Low. I have a pair of Terra Evo Talls. But in general, the fit of this boot, if we're talking about not how it fits individual people, but just how well executed it is, this is a more sophisticated shape. It's actually a better fit. A lot of padding through the inside of the boot. The details, that's kind of some give and take. They both have waterproof liners. They both have a 1-year warranty. I have no doubts that they'll easily surpass that for longevity. If you're talking about after-sale support, though, Forma is definitely much better to work with if anything goes wrong with the waterproof nature of their boots. They're one of the best brands and vendors that we have for that. Alpinestars is very good for warranty, but they're a bigger company, a little bit more bureaucracy, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get those things executed, and sometimes, frankly, they'll tell you no. Forma is much more hungry, much more aggressive with their customers. But overall, what is the better of these two boots? What is our preferred option? Well, again, the individual fit characteristics aside, we typically prefer boots that are made in that classic, old school, European, stubborn, we've got to do it as good as we can, production system and mentality. And that describes this boot. In this case, Alpinestars, who has moved their production around, they're a bigger company, they have a more globalized nature as to how they source things. But in this case, they executed this boot very, very well. They did a great job of it. It's got a really substantial feel. It has a really nice fit. It's quite protective for an adventure low boot. In fact, it's better than a lot of their other stuff. So this boot, they did a really, really good job executing. And in this dogfight, the winner is the Alpinestars Belize. So we hope that has been helpful. We are Atomic-Moto, www.atomic-moto.com, home of the barbers. We are mission focused on finding great gear, matching it up to you, your bike, and your type of riding, and explaining it thoroughly and in clear detail here with no BS, as we always do. We have a great YouTube channel. Check us out there. We'd love it if you subscribed and liked this video and other videos that come down the pipeline. And of course, if you forwarded them to some of your buddies that are shopping for boots, because we always try to be helpful for the riding community. And hopefully if you pass them on, you can be helpful too. Thanks for checking us out. We hope to see you out on your bike.